Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In this one we will improve the collision method we created in the previous one a little bit. But first I also want to tell you that I was able to put my graphics card working. So as you can see, this is a Max-Q graphics card, so it's like a mobile version. Is not really a GTX 1050, so it's even worse than a GTX 1050. But it is now working. So it was something like with a Windows default render hardware or something like that, and I had to update drivers and stuff like that. But it is now working, so that's okay. So here, if I run this, hopefully it's not going to stutter. I also changed my OBS configuration because previously I was using software encoder and the video was stuttering a bit, even though on my side it didn't really add any lag. But now it's using the GPU as well, so you should now see uh, a fluid video, I would say. But yeah, as you can see, so with a GTX 1050, let's see how many FPS we can get with it. So if I increase the default FPS or the maximum FPS to something like 300, let me see what kind of FPS is this graphics card can get. So yeah, it's more or less around that. So 220 or so in terms of graphics. Yeah, it's more than enough, to be honest. More than enough for such a limited hardware, right? I think that's pretty good. So that's probably the maximum amount we will be able to ever get in this game for this very specific hardware. So yeah, it's not by any means a bad amount of performance, right? So 220 FPS on a 1050 mobile 1050 is good. Okay, so but I want to improve this collision method. So I want to specifically not use this technique because I was basically thinking about ways to not use this division method, and I came across this Rayleigh function. Let me try to find it to show you guys. There is, yeah, this get collision rec. And so I think I can use this function to improve the collision because now if I have, let's say, a player and I have a block, can I paint this with another color? Yeah. So this is my player and this is my block. Can I move it? I cannot. It doesn't allow me. Can I do this? Okay. So if my player, like, it moves in step amounts, right? And if it collides, what we do is that we basically revert the change and we divide the step by half. So we try it again. It still collides, then we revert, and then we divide it by two, and then we keep doing that until it no longer collides. So basically, we will always have like a very small, like, that is no one can see that gap, right? But there is a very small gap always between two things. um, and this is like it, I think it can be improved in terms of efficiency because this basically tells us that if there is a collision, we will always, or yeah, at least at this amount of extra steps, right? So one way I think we can do that is to check. So if I do this, okay, specifically check if we collide, we can get this rectangle. So there is another rectangle in here. So this is a collision rectangle, like so. Let me paint it in a different color. Okay, so this is the collision rectangle. And we can basically use this collision rectangle to calculate how much we need to shift the actor to the left or right or up or down. And we don't need to iterate at all, right? Because this amount, this width, right? This width is the amount we need to shift the actor, and then the actor is basically going to snap into the object. So if something collides with something, we just snap it, to that position. Basically, that's the idea. So to implement this, what can I say? So I've here, I probably want then to have another rectangle, and this is going to be my collision box, right? And I need to accept it by pointer. And now we cannot early return because if we have multiple things, so let's say I have a grid of tiles, right? And I have an object here, and then I have another object here, right? For example, we have this kind of structure, right? And the player is here, right? And we move the player to here, then it's going to collide with this, but it is also going to collide with this, right? Oh, but this is never going to happen because we move in like step amounts, and the step already prevents us from moving more than one tile wide in width, right? So I think we can early return in theory, probably. Yeah, I think we can early return. There is no need to get the maximum. So in this case, what we need to do is to say that the value of collision box is going to be equal to get, what is the name? I forgot. Get collision rect. So this is going to give me the rectangle collision box. And here I just need to pass the same thing, right? Just need to give it that. And this is going to work here. I probably want, just for the sake of it, to set it to an empty thing, right? So a zero initialized rectangle. Yeah, I guess there's one way of doing things. And here I need to do the same thing for the horizontal collision, so we are going to use the same method. Right, here we are going to do that. Pretty much just copy and paste at this point. Well, do I really need to zero initialize here? Probably not. Since I'm already returning false or true, I probably don't need this. It's just going to slow down the algorithm unnecessarily. So here, I need to accept a pointer to collision box. And here I can just pass it, like so. And same thing here. Right? And same thing in the other places. Collision box, and this is my collision box. Okay, so now I need to get rid of this concept of max div count. We no longer need that because we're no longer going to divide the step, so we don't need this. This is still the step size, we still need accumulator, and we still need collided. But here, we can just do this, right? And so we will need also a rectangle with collision box, and this can be like that, doesn't need to be initialized. It'll just be like that. And here we are just going to pass it by pointer. So if we collide, we know for sure that this variable is going to contain the collision box, right? And so we are moving to the left. So we need to take away the width of this box. You can just say width, right? And this should work. Yeah, so I don't need this anymore. I don't need steps. I don't need to revert anything, right? You just take away whatever was the excess, right? So basically, this is the excess. I need this. This is what the the portion of the movement that exceeds what we are supposed to do, so we just take it away, like we subtract it. So yeah, we don't actually need to do that, and we don't need to do that. So this simplifies things a lot. And here the accumulator also needs to be updated. Well, but here, since, yeah, so when we snap the new box to the current object that we collided in, we can just break from the loop, and we can early break from the loop, right? We don't need to check this condition. So yeah, I think that's basically it. So we just need to do the same thing for the other places. So here we are not going to need these div counts. We need this, and that. This is no longer needed. So it's going to actually speed up this algorithm even further, right? I think it's a good approach in my opinion. So here, well, here we are moving to the right. So to remove the excess, right? So let's say we have a player here. Actually, this is the movement to the left, and this is movement to the right, right? So here, so if I'm moving left, I actually need to add the width, right? Because this is negative, this step size is negative, so we need to add it to actually take it away. And here, this is positive, so we need to subtract it to actually take it away, right? Because if I'm moving right, this step was positive, so I need to subtract it to move it backwards. So that's it. And here I can do the same thing. I can just break from the loop. And then up is similar to left, so I can just copy this. But now we need to be careful. Wait a minute. Don't need that. Let me just take this away. Okay, so here we need to press collision box. Because now we need to, this is not the width we want, it's actual height of the collision box. So we have something like this, and we are moving up, right? We are moving this object up. It collides with another object. This is the excess. This is the amount of movement we shouldn't actually have added. So up is negative, so we need to add it, right? So here we actually need to add, and this is not step size, this is collision box height. Did I put it? Yeah, this is not correct. This is collision box width. And this is correct. Yeah, this one is correct. Okay. So this is no longer needed. And here I can just break. Right. What else? So then I just need to do the same thing for downwards movements. Here I can remove that. I no longer need this condition. Here I want to pass my collision box. Here, since I'm moving downwards, so I'm in this situation, I have an object here, it is moving downwards. The downwards movement is positive. To take it away, I need to subtract it, right? So I need to subtract collision box height, something like that. I don't need to divide by 2, I don't need to increment anything, and I can just break from the loop and everything will be fine, I think. So there's only one thing left, and that it is to test this. I still don't I don't test code before writing it. I just think about it and then I write it in these live coding sessions. But let's see if this works. Okay, it seems to be working actually. So yeah, I think yeah, that's probably a better algorithm, I would say, because now the player, it basically when it enters an object, it just snaps back to the collision line. So it seems to be good, I would say. Oh, and don't forget, like I was previously, I was saying that the maximum FPS this can get is 220, but that's not really true because I'm recording, right? And the OBS is actually using the graphics card to encode the video. So this probably can get like 300 FPS or something, or 400. I don't know how much resources OBS consumes, right? But yeah, this seems to be working now pretty well. These all of these collisions, like in all directions actually. So up, left, down, and right. They all seem to be working, right? So I think that's basically it. So that's everything for this episode. It was a short one. I just wanted to do this little improvement that I thought about after seeing that function from Raylib. And yeah, it seems to be working. So that's it. In the next one, we will be working on gravity and adding the concept of gravity acceleration. But until then, I see you in the next one.